Hello friends, in this video we will learn about flowchart. So flowchart is a type of a diagram that represents an algorithm, workflow or a process. It shows the step as a box of various kinds and their order by connecting the box with arrows. This diagrammatic representation illustrates a solution model to a given problem. Element of a flowchart. So to draw a flowchart, various geometrical shaped boxes represent the step of the solution. The boxes are connected by directional arrows to show the flow of a solution. Use of a flowchart. So when we use a flowchart to specify method of solving a problem, to plan the sequence of a computer program, to communicate ideas and solution. Now to draw a flowchart, the first thing we need to identify is input and output. Then we apply reasoning skill to solve the problem. Then we draw the flowchart using the appropriate symbol and arrows to show the sequence of steps in solving the problem. Now when we apply operation using geometric shapes, there are a particular shape that is intended to show you some purpose. For example, over here the first symbol is ellipse. The ellipse is used to indicate a start and end of a flowchart. Start written in ellipse indicate the beginning of a flowchart, whereas end, stop or exit written in the ellipse indicate the end of a flowchart. Then the second shape we use is a parallelogram. Parallelogram is used to read a data, that is your input, or to print a output or to print data, that means as a output. Then the third one is a rectangle. A rectangle is used to show the processing that takes place in the flowchart. The next one is a diagram. A diagram with two branches is used to show the decision making step in a flowchart. A question is specified in diamond. The next step in the sequence is based on the answer to the question, that is answer is in terms of a yes or no. Then arrows. Arrows are used to connect the step in a flowchart to show the flow and sequence of a problem solving process. Let's just have idea of a flowchart. Over here I have take example of how to find profit or a loss. So the first thing we need to identify is our input. That means over here our inputs are selling price and cost price. So let's as a for consideration we have take cost price is equals to 325 and our selling price is 425. So let's start. So the first thing you need to do is always in any flowchart, the first shape is your ellipse shape, in which you have written start. That means that indicate your starting of your flowchart. Then next thing we need to is read your CP. That means read your cost price and read your selling price. So over here we are reading the input values. Over here we are reading the input value. That means I have to use a parallelogram. I have to use parallelogram in which I have written read cost price, read selling price. The next thing I have to do is to apply a condition. That means is your selling price is greater than your cost price? Is your selling price is greater than your cost price? The answer of this question that it will be in terms of a yes or no. Based on that we will execute our further processing. That means if SP, that means selling price is greater than CP, then answer is yes. Over here our selling price is a 458 and CP is 325. That means 455 is greater than 325. So our answer is yes. over here this is a diamond, that means over here we are some decision making statement, isn't it? So if yes, according to our this data, this is true, this condition is true, yes, our SP is greater than our CP, so it is a profit. So we have calculate the profit value, that is profit is equals to SP minus CP, that is 458 minus 325. So over here we are calculating profit, that means we are applying some operation over our data, so that's why we have used a rectangle box. Remember, we use rectangle box to represent a process, we use diamond to represent a decision making statement, and to read or write data we use parallelogram. Okay, so if the statement is gonna yes, that means over here we have calculate profit and then we print the profit. So to print statement, that is our output, so further so again we have used parallelogram. If this condition is false, that means no, your SP is not greater than CP, then what will happen? Then it will be your loss, and to calculate loss is equals to your cost price minus your selling price, that means, and the next statement will be a print loss. So it is also again a print statement, that means you have to use parallelogram. Okay, and after that, after execution this statement, there is another ellipse in which it is and is written, that it indicate the end of a flowchart. Next example, flowchart of a multiplication table for a given number. This is quite different from previous one. How? Over there is no repetition of a sequence. Over here we are I am giving you concept of a repeated sequence in a flowchart. So multiplication table of a 12, but obviously as always you have to start your flowchart drawing with ellipse written in with start. Then our next statement, our next action, our next step is to read the number end, that means we are reading our data, so we use parallelogram over here. The next is we have set the value count to 1. Okay, so we have set the value count to 1, so we have applied assignment operation, so we have used a rectangle to represent this statement. The next statement is multiple. This is also a variable. Multiple is equals to n into count. So over here n is our 12 and count that we have set to 1. So multiple is equals to 12 into 1, that is your 12. The next is see that over here we have applied operation, that's why we have used shape of rectangle. Our next statement is to print. Our multiplication table, so that's why it's gonna be sequence like this: a 12 into 12, that is our number n, into 1, that is our count value, is equals to 12, that is our multiple. That means print n star count is equals to multiple. So this is our print statement, so that's why to represent it over here we have used parallelogram. Then after that we have checked one condition. What is that condition? The condition is count is equals to 10. Is count is equals to 10. Over here we have just completed one repeated sequence, so our count value is 1. So this condition is true or false? Is count is equals to 10? No, count value is 1, so the decision making statement is no. So what we have to do is add 1 to the current value of count, so that now our count value is 2. Okay, are you getting or not? So our count value is 12. So now we have to again run this statement, that is multiple is equals to n into count. So our statement would be multiple is equals to 12 into 2. So over here 12 into 2, that means multiple have a value is equals to 24. Now print the statement, that is 12 into 2 is equals to 24. Again check for condition. Is count is equals to 10? No, count is 2. That's why this condition is false, and now add 1 to the current value of count. So this is how this 3 steps are continuously gonna repeated executed until this condition become false. So let's say we have executed it 10 times, and now it is checking for condition. Is count is equals to 10? Yes, count value is 10. So our next statement to execute would be AND. That means our AND of a algorithm. So this is how a repeated sequence of action is executed in a flowchart. Now, advantage of a flowchart: an excellent way of communicating the logic of program. Easy and efficient to analyze the problem using flowchart. During program development cycle, the flowchart plays the role of a blueprint, which makes program development process easier. It is easy to convert the flowchart into any programming language. Over here, I have given some list of software to create a flowchart, that is a Lucidchart, Microsoft Visio, Taxograph, and a Smart Draw. And besides that, in this figure I have given a functionality that is provided by a software to draw a flowchart, that is it provide you a flowchart wizard, symbol key generator, split connectors, flowchart editors, and extra. So in this lecture of a flowchart, we have learned decision making. That means in diamond shape we represent a question. The answer would be yes, either yes or no. Then we have understood the concept of a repeated sequence, that means a loop process, then decision making statement, and if condition is true, then again repeat, then again repeat, then again repeat until the condition becomes false. Then it will become a sequence. So our lesson output in this video is some use of a flowchart. List the step need to be followed while drawing a flowchart. Apply it to draw a flowchart. Recognize various structure like a sequence, selection, and repetition in a flowchart. So let's take another example to understand the flowchart. See guys, if you have some problem statement, then you must be aware of algorithm and a flowchart. Every problem statement we can design algorithm for that and even a flowchart for that. So let's understand algorithm and a flowchart to find the sum of two variable. Our algorithm is to find the sum of two variables. So our input is find first number and the second number. These are our input that need to be added, and our expected output is sum of the two numbers, isn't it? Yeah. So our first step in algorithm is to start. So we have started our flowchart using ellipse. Our second step is to input two numbers, say a and b. So over here we are reading the value of variable a and b. So we have to use a parallelogram. Okay, we have to use parallelogram. That means input value of a and b. Our third step is apply a addition operation over inputs. So this is a process. That's why we have to use a rectangle box. Step 4 is display a sum. That means we are going to output our data. That's why we have to use parallelogram, that in which we have written print sum. Then stop, our algorithm is stop. So this is all about flowchart and algorithm.